regret not knowing more about the criminal justice system.
That's Mary Kay Letourneau. There she is in court. She didn't know much about the criminal justice system. She raped a 13-year-old boy. She went to prison. She got pregnant twice. She did 7 years. She got out. Then she married her victim. And they stayed married for 12 years. You know, this story was sold as a love story in France. That's how they viewed it. And it was sold as a crime story here in the United States. And that's what I posted today on social media. I said, the story of Mary Kay Letourneau and her relationship, was that a love story? Or is that some sort of twisted, perverted sex crime story? We begin with our 13th juror comment of the day. And tonight it comes from Shai, who writes, he took care of her in her last hours, which is absolutely true. Twisted crime turned twisted love story. I wonder if it was really love after he came of age or some kind of Stockholm syndrome. Anyway, the kids lost their mom. I don't wish that kind of pain on anyone. And our thoughts again with the children of Mary Kay Letourneau. But Bernarda, how do you see this one? Do you see it as a love story or some sort of twisted sex crime here?
Vinny, come on. This woman is a predator. She is, or she was, a predator since she's now dead. I really feel for her kids to think that at the age of 35, you are a school teacher. You are supposed to teach kids what the studies are supposed to be, not teach sex ed and do one-on-one performances with a child that is 12, 13 years old. You took advantage of that. You took advantage of the gullibility of this child, the innocence of this child. You just took advantage of all of that. I think she is a predator. There's no love story. It actually disgusts me.
Syed writing tonight, what about relationships who currently have a huge age gap, like 20 plus years? Are they sick or is that normal? Jeffrey, I think the important number is not 20. The important number is he was 13 at the time. You know, she was his teacher in 2nd grade and then again in 6th grade, and that's when it all started.
Yeah, and I think you're right. I think that is the difference because, yeah, it's very easy to say what's 20 years when somebody's 50 and somebody's 30. But when you're talking about somebody who met somebody as a child and groomed them, presumably throughout that process, that's where you start to think about why does the age of consent exist? Because a child's mind can't form the type of relationship that would make a nice, long, loving, lasting relationship. It's something that an adult who gets involved with somebody that old, it's a big problem, and it's not a love story, and it's certainly a very unique story in American crime history because usually these stories end with somebody either in prison for the rest of their life or at least not having any contact, not getting back together and having children together. It's one of the more twisted stories that I've ever seen in any of the crime history of America. But there's a big difference between meeting an adult who is significantly younger than you and meeting a 2nd grader and then again a 13-year-old and being found in the car together. I mean, it's night and day. Jessica
tonight, all y'all saying she paid for her crime or whatever. What if that were a guy that molested a minor? That's what I thought. Disgusting. Joseph Marone, is this at all looked at differently because it was the woman who was the sex offender?
Well, I think it maybe have been a little bit more sympathetic because it was an adult woman. But it's still, listen, it was sick. She had 4 kids at the time. She was 32 years old. But if it was a male, 32-year-old male preying on a 12-year-old or 13-year-old girl, it definitely would have looked at more egregious. And obviously, I don't think he would have gotten 7 years. He would have probably gotten a lot more time. And listen, the whole thing is bizarre. And I think she really had mental issues throughout this whole process. And and it's sad she died. And I don't really want to comment any further.
Yeah, understandable. I mean, she had children. David writes tonight, rape is a terrible word. To say she raped him is extremely debatable. I don't care what anybody says. A man raping a woman is very different to a woman raping a man. The only thing I would say to David here, is that it wasn't a man. It was a 13-year-old boy, and that's what makes it so much different. But anyway, great job tonight. Bernarda Villalona, Jeffrey Wolf, Joseph Marone, really appreciate your thoughtful comments and your insight tonight. Please come back on the show again.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Have a
Vinny.
great night, Vince.